A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome everybody to Thursday's class. Today we will be learning about something known as the Rules of Waqf. And they will be on pages 85 and 86, the lesson, if you have a hard copy. Okay, so let's go straight away to our opening dua. If I could have a student on the mic, please.
Yes, I'm now putting on A5340.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam, darling. How are you?
Good.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, sweetheart. So we have got this dua highlighted in yellow as it's Thursday. Will you be able to read it by yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, then fantastic. So let's go for it. Don't forget the Dawood and the Tasmiyah to start off with.
Rabbi al-minni ma huwa jairun indaka.
Okay, mashallah, that was a very, very good attempt. So you have always, before you recite, you should say the Dawood and the Tasmiyah, okay? So if you follow with me, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem.
Bismillahir rahmanir rahim.
Bismillahir rahmanir rahim.
Okay then, so let's just go through this, okay? Rabbi allimni
Rabbi allimni
ma huwa khayrun
ma huwa khayrun
indak.
indak.
Well done, mashallah. Okay, and the English translation, sweetheart.
O my Lord, teach me what is best for me in your knowledge. Tazkirah.
Well done. Jazakumullah, sweetheart, for that lovely recitation. And we will maybe call you to the mic again later on. Assalamu alaikum. Allah Hafiz. Okay, so today we will be doing a lesson in which we will be learning about the rules of waqf. And I will take you to the Quran Majid shortly, just to put everything into context. But let's just have a read of what the lesson says here. Waqf. Waqf means to stop or pause. During the recitation, pausing at the end of a meaningful sentence or a verse with a break of breath is called waqf. The correct way of pausing at various types of Quranic words is explained below. Now, I know some of you have already started reading the Quran Majid and others, mashallah, have actually finished and you're on the course to learn, to increase your knowledge. But let me just take you to a page in the Quran Majid, okay, and just to demonstrate what it is that we're going to be doing today. Okay, so most of you will recognize this. This is the very first bits of the Quran Majid, okay, from Surah Baqarah. Okay, and I'm going to take you through, if I just can highlight it, from here to here, just to demonstrate, if I can highlight this, yeah, from here to here, just to demonstrate what waqf means in practice. Okay, so where I've highlighted here in the yellow, this circle, and it has the Arabic number inside written in it, number 3, okay, and here is another one, number 4, written here. In this particular version of the Quran Majid, in this copy, there's a circle with a number. In different Quran Majids, you'll see different ways of having these verse ends, as they're known. In the Quran Majid, you will find that as you read, you will come across these verse ends. It is sunnah to stop at the end of a verse. And that means that the Holy Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, always used to stop in recitation when it came to the end of a verse. And so we should also copy that example and we should stop. So when we're reading, we would start from here at this verse, and we would read all the way through, and then we would stop here. Now, when we stop, where we stop, the letter that we are stopping at and the stroke that's on top, depending on what we stop at, the way we read isn't necessarily what's actually written there. Different rules apply when we stop. And today what we're going to do is learn about what those rules are so that we can then put those things into practice. So if I was going to read the whole of this verse, okay, and remember I'm an adult and I've been reading for some years, okay, so my breath control is a little bit more developed than say a 6-year-old. How I would read this starting from here would be A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alladhina yu'minuna bil ghaibi wa yuqimuna as-salata wa mimma razaqnahum yunfiqun. Now I was able to read that all the way through, but I don't know if you noticed that when I came to the end here, I read yunfiqun. I stopped on the noon. I didn't say the fatha. And that's because when you pause on a letter which carries a fatha, when you stop there, that fatha changes to a sukoon. And so this becomes a noon sakin. Only temporarily, because I've chosen to stop there. Now, as I say, stopping at the end of a verse is sunnah. Everyone should essentially always stop at the end of a verse. There are times when people won't. For example, in Ramadan, when you're reading Tarawih and you're falling behind an imam, they may want to read and get through. If you just bear with me. Sorry. Okay, if you just bear with me 1 second. Apologies. Okay, so they may choose to read all straight through these verses. So it is allowed to carry on, but it is sunnah to stop. Now, when you're learning to read, your breath control isn't that developed. And so you may find that you run out of breath before you come to the end of a verse. So what do? Well, you can pause within a verse so long as it's at an appropriate place. Again, though, a rule will be applied depending on where you stop. Now, I've marked in this verse 2 places here where I'm going to read through this verse and I'm going to choose to stop at this ba and at this ta al-marbuta. Okay, now just listen to how I read, okay, from here. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alladhina yu'minuna bil ghaib wa yuqimuna as-salah wa mimma razaqnahum yunfiqun. Now, when I paused here and here, I said bil ghaib. I didn't say bil ghaibi. And here I said as-salah as opposed to as-salata. And that's because, again, there is a rule that applies. When there's a dal marbuta with a fatha, that fatha changes to a sukoon. When there's a ba with a kasra, the kasra changes into a sukoon. So when we pause, there are certain rules that apply, and we have to put those rules into practice. Those rules depend on the letter that we're stopping on as well as the stroke. Okay, now I hope that put everything into a little bit of context. What we'll do now is we'll go to the lesson and we'll go through some examples of how we are going to read if we carry on or if we choose to pause. Okay, so if I may have a student on the mic, please.
Yes, I'm now going to put on N6305.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. How are you, darling?
I'm good. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm quite well. Jazakallah for asking. So when I was just taking you through here, darling, did that give you a little bit of understanding as to what we're going to be doing today's lesson?
Yes.
Yes, alhamdulillah. Okay then, so let's go through these examples, okay? And we go through number one first of all. If you come across a word and you're going to take a pause on a fatha, which is here. Okay, if I could get my highlighter here on the gaff. If you pause on a fatha will change into a sukoon. So if you come across an example like this reads dhalika. Okay, so repeat after me, dhalika.
Zalika.
Well done. If we choose to carry on reading whatever's following afterwards, we would read this as dhalika and then carry on. But if we choose to stop on that gaff with the fatha, what happens is that this fatha changes into a sukoon. Now in the book, it won't magically suddenly change into sukoon. I mean, in the book, it won't do that. But you have to understand in your head that the fatha is not how you're going to read it. You're going to read it as if it's a sukoon. So if you were going to pause, you would say dhalik.
Zalik.
Well done. Okay. So if you come across a place where you're going to pause and it carries a fatha, you pause by making the fatha into a sukoon. The same rule applies for a kasra. If you pause on a letter which carries a kasra, the kasra changes into a sukoon. So in this word here, if we were reading and we were going to carry on, we would say yomi. So repeat with me, yomi.
Yomi.
Well done. But if we choose to stop at that meme, the kasra will change into a sukoon, as is here. So what we would do is we would say yom.
Yom.
Well done. Again, the same rule applies for a dhamma. If you come across a word and you're going to stop on a letter, bear with me, on a letter that carries a dhamma, like here, that dhamma will change into a sukoon if you pause on it. So if we were reading this word, na'budu,
Na'budu.
well done. If we were going to pause, we would read na'bud.
Na'budu.
Well done. Okay. This rule is fairly simple. If you see a simple stroke like a fatha or a kasra or a dhamma, and you're going to pause on that, it just changes into a sukoon. It's fairly easy to remember. So one more time. A fatha will change into a sukoon. Dhalika
Zalika.
to dhalik.
Zalik.
A kasra will change into a sukoon. Yomi,
Yomi.
yom.
Yom.
Well done. Na'budu,
Na'budu.
na'bud.
Na'budu.
Okay, well done. Now stay with me, sweetheart. I'm just going to take you back to this copy of the Quran Majid, and that will hopefully help place it for some other students as well. Now you can see that when I was reading through in this verse, okay, when I was reading through all the way through and I came to this bar, there was a kasra, but I actually pronounced the bar with the kasra. The same here, when this dal marbuta carried a fatha and I was carrying on, I read the fatha. When I paused here, I made this fatha into a sukoon. So if I read it one more time, and you can see why I'm applying the rules, okay? So all the way through, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم الذين يؤمنون بالغيب ويقيمون الصلاة ومما رزقناهم ينفقون. I chose to carry on at this letter, so I read the fatha. I chose to carry on at this bar, so I read the kasra. If I was going to stop here, I would do A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Alladhina yu'minuna bil ghaib. I made that kasra into sukoon, and I read that bar as if it was a sakin bar. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So let's go back to the lesson. Okay. So students, if you are not on the mic, if you can make sure that you stay muted, okay? Okay, sweetheart. Jazakumullah for your help. If I may have another, Allah Hafiz. If I may have another student.
Yes, I'll now put on A5303.
Assalamu alaikum. A5303.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, so let's move on to rule number 4, where we're talking about the tanween of kasra, a kasratain, this one here. Okay, if you come across a word and you're going to pause on a tanween of kasra, also known as a kasratain, that kasratain will change into a sukoon. So in this example here, if we were going to read this and then carry on reading whatever comes afterwards, we would read makhtumin. So if you repeat with me, darling, makhtumin.
Makhtumin.
Well done.
And then, teacher,
Yes?
if you read over there, it will be makhtun.
Yes. Over here, if we chose to stop at the meme, what we would do is we'd take the kasratain and make it into a sukoon, and we would read mahtum.
Makhtum.
Well done. Okay. If we came across a tanween of dhamma, as is the case here, okay, that dhammatain will change it into a sukoon. So if we were reading this word and we were going to carry on, we would read Qur'anun.
Qur'anun.
Well done. But if we chose to make a pause or a waqf on this noon, the dhammatain here would change into a sukoon, as is written here.
Qur'an.
Well done. Okay. Qur'an.
Qur'an.
Well done. Okay. So, in the first 5 cases, where we have a simple stroke of a fatha, kasra, or a dhamma, and we choose to pause, it changes into a sukoon. If you have a kasratain or a dhammatain, that also changes into a sukoon. In the next 3 examples, 6, 7, and 8, we're going to look at what happens when there's a ha or a ta al-marbuta involved. Okay. Now, if you find that you come to a ha and it has a vertical kasra, as is the case here, okay, that vertical kasra will change into a sukoon. This, if you were going to carry on reading, would be rasulihi.
Rasulihi.
But if we chose to pause, rasulih.
Rasulih.
Well done. Similarly, if we have an inverted dhamma on top of a ha, this inverted dhamma will be changed into a sukoon, okay, like is written here. So in continuation, we would say yarahu.
Yarahu.
But if you chose to, well done. And if you chose to pause, it would be yarah.
Yarah.
Well done. If we have the case where there's a ta al-marbuta, and this here, this is a ta al-marbuta, okay, the one with the 2 dots. If you have a ta al-marbuta and it carries a dhammatain, in fact, if ta al-marbuta carrying any stroke, always changes into a ha sakin. A ha with a sukoon on the top. Okay, so if you ever see a ta al-marbuta, any stroke, it always changes into a ha sakin when you pause. This word, if we were going to carry on reading, would be musfiratun.
Musfiratun.
But if we chose to pause, we would read musfirah.
Musfirah.
Well done. Okay. Now notice that it was a ta al-marbuta. It changed to a ha. It carried a stroke of a dhammatain, which changed into a sukoon. But the simple way to remember it is that ta al-marbuta always changes into a ha sakin if you pause on it. Okay. Okay then. So, yes, darling.
Yes, sakoon. Inverted dhamma will change into a sakoon. Tal mabuta will change into ha sakina. Why is this?
Okay, so why that is more to do with how the Arabic language and the grammar is involved, and that's a little bit beyond what we teach in our course at this stage. Maybe if you wanted to learn more about it, you could go into a higher level course. But right now, what we're going to do is just teach you what to do as opposed to why to do it. Yeah?
Okay.
Okay. All right, then, Sriha, Jazakumullah for your help. Allah Hafiz for now. If I may have another student.
Yes, I'm now going to put on N6312.
Assalamu alaikum. N6312. Assalamu alaikum. Nasra, N6312.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. How are you?
Well, fine.
Fine. Alhamdulillah. Okay then, Sriha. So we're going to go on to case number 9 here. Okay. Where we end on a word where there's a fatha with a... Okay. So if we stop on a place of tanween, which is fathatain, which is the example here, okay, there's a ba with a fathatain on top. If we stop there, the fathatain changes to an alif madda. Okay, okay, here, okay. It's a fathatain here. If we carry on reading, we would read it like this. Abwaban.
Abwaban.
Well done. Okay. But if we chose to pause on this bar, we would read it as if it was a bar with an alif madda straight afterwards. Okay. Abwaba.
Abwaba.
Well done. So the rule is that in place of a tanween here, a fatha with alif will be pronounced instead. Okay. Let's move on to case number 10, where we have a vertical fatha followed by this ya, a blank ya. There's basically going to be no change in how you read it. Okay. If you were reading this and you were going to carry on, you would read this as yes,
Yes,
Well done. Okay. And again, just make the ayn thick to start off with and then thin it out as you do the stretch. Yes,
Yes,
Well done. If we were going to pause, the sound would be exactly the same. Yes,
Yes,
Well done. That's when there's a vertical fatha and there's a blank ya afterwards, okay? Now, if we come across a case where there's a ya with a vertical kasra, as is the case here, there'll be no change. Yuhyi.
Yuhyi.
Okay, and whatever follows on afterwards, we'd carry on reading it as normal, okay? But if we chose to pause on here, we would still read exactly the same. The rule for this is that there's no change when there's a vertical kasra. Yuhyi.
Yuhyi.
Well done. Okay. Allah Hafiz for now, darling. If I may have another student on the mic.
Yes, I'm now putting on N6 324.
Assalamu alaikum. N6324.
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam, darling. Okay. Are you on your own? Have you got somebody else who's logged in as well, darling?
I have my brother logged in as well.
Okay. All right then. If he's sitting with you, that's fine. But if he's got his own device, like an iPad or a laptop, if you can ask him to move away from you, okay? So that we don't get that feedback.
Can you move away, please?
She muted. You start.
Okay. All right then, darling. So if we have a case where we've got an alif madda, like is the case here, okay? And we're going to be reading this and we carry on afterwards. We would read this as Rafa'na.
Rafa'na.
Okay, well done. Try not to jerk on the I. Rafa'na.
Rafa'na.
Well done. But if we chose to pause, to stop here, there'd be no change. An alif madda does not change. Rafa'na.
Rafa'na.
Well done. Okay. So an alif madda, there's no change whether you choose to pause on it or whether you choose to carry on. Okay. Now let's move on to case number 13, where we have a fatha followed by a blank ya. Okay. Now this is important. A fatha followed by a blank ya. This is the special case. Okay. If it was just a fatha, there would be a different rule. So when you have a fatha followed by a blank ya, if we were going to carry on reading whatever comes after here, we would read this as al-a'la.
Al-a'la.
Well done, okay? So just a normal 1 second with the fatha. But if we chose to stop here, we would change that fatha into a vertical fatha. And we would read it as al-a'la.
Al-a'la.
Well done. Okay. Now this is a special case. I'm going to take you back to rule number 1 here. Okay. Where there was a fatha and we were going to pause on it. Here, when we paused, that fatha changed into a sukoon. Okay. But in this particular case here, there was a blank ya that followed this fatha. In that case, that fatha changes into a vertical fatha. Okay? So there is a difference in the rule that's being applied there. Okay, so rule number 14. If you come across a case where there's a mushaddad letter and the mushaddad letter carries a dhamma, the dhamma changes into a sukoon. Okay? But the fact that it's mushaddad, you still have to press down on the tashdid. So, in this, okay, so if my screen would just behave itself. Okay, let me give it one more go. Okay, so we're on number 14. I'm not going to try and highlight this, okay? So if we were going to read this and carry on, this is how we would read it. Yazunnu.
Yazunnu.
Well done. Okay, and then we'd carry on reading. But if we chose to pause here, that dhamma would change into a sukoon, but the tashdid, the mushaddad aspect, we'd still have to say it. So this is how to read if we chose to pause. Yazun. Yazun.
Yazun.
Well done. Okay, so the mushaddad aspect, we can't ignore it. If we pause on a mushaddad letter, we still need to press down on it and do the ghunna if it's appropriate, which is the case here on the noon. Okay?
Okay.
Okay. Now I know that there's a lot of rules here, and in this lesson, we have to introduce you to the rules. When you do, inshallah, get onto the Gramjeen, which will be, inshallah, very, very soon, you'll apply these rules, and you'll have to come back to this lesson often to say, I'm going to pause here, what rule applies, okay? So we're going to take you through, just explain these rules, but it's really when you're reading the Quran Majid that you'll come back to this lesson and all of the rules will then make sense, okay? Because practice will make you perfect on those things. So at the moment, we're just going to go through the rules, and I know that there's quite a lot, but it's something that you're going to have to just get to grips with. Okay, so rule number 15. If you come across a case where there's a tanween of fatha, a fathatain, okay, which is the case here, okay, that fathatain changes to a vertical fatha, which is the case here, okay. If it's a mushaddad letter, the tashdid still has to be honored. We still have to make the pressing down sound. Now, in this particular case, if we were going to carry on reading straight afterwards, we would say musamman.
Musamman.
Well done. Okay. There's a meme. It's a mushaddad meme. So we have to do a 2-second gunna sound. And it's a fathatain. So we have to do the 2-second gunna sound because of the fathatain. Musamman.
Musamman.
Well done. But if we chose to pause on this meme, what would happen is that the fathatain would change into a vertical fatha. And this is how we would read this. Musamma.
Musamma.
Well done. The tashdid will not be ignored. The tashdid has to be manifested. Okay, one more with yourself. Rule number 16. Tanween on a long da. This is what is meant by a long da. This one here, okay? A tanween on a long da will change into a sukoon. So if you came across an example and you were going to pause on this, you would have to read it as if it had a sukoon. So in continuation, if we were going to read this word and then carry on with whatever was written afterwards, we would read it like this. Ma'dudatin.
Ma'dudatin.
Well done. Let's pay attention to the timings, darling, yeah? Ma'dudatin.
Ma'dudatin.
Well done. Okay. This ayn here, let's have a practice here. Ma.
Ma.
Well done. Ma'dudatin.
Ma'dudatin.
Well done. If we were going to pause on this letter here, we would read it like this. Ma'dudat.
Ma'dudat.
Well done. Well done. Okay. Jazakumullah siha. Allah Hafiz for now. If I can have another student on the mic.
Yes, I'm now putting on A5328.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. If you just bear with me, siha. Okay. A5328.
Yes.
Assalamu alaikum, darling. How are you?
Good, alhamdulillah. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, jazakumullah for asking. I'm very well. Okay, so let's move on to number 17, where we have the case where there's a hamza and it carries a tanween of fatha. A tanween of fatha on a hamza will change into a vertical fatha and be read just like an alif madda, which means for 2 seconds. So let's have a demonstration of the sound. If we were reading this word and we were going to carry on reading straight afterwards with whatever was coming up, this is how we would read it. There is a big mad here, okay? A madda al-kabira, okay? There's a big mad here, and if you remember, we stretched that sound out for up to 6 seconds, between 4 to 6 seconds. So to read this, we would say Nisa'an.
Nisa'an.
Okay, well done. When you do the ghunna sound, darling, read it as if it's a UN. There's a N sound, okay? Nisa'an.
Nisa'an.
Well done. Very, very nice. But if you choose to pause on this, okay, this fathatain would change into a vertical fatha. Okay, and the way we would read, if we were going to pause on the hamza, would be Nisa'a.
Nisa'a.
Well done. The sa gets stretched for 4 to 6 seconds. This hamza with the vertical fatha for 2 seconds. Okay, Nisa'a.
Nisa'a.
Well done, well done. Okay, so if you come across a hamza with a fathatain and you're carrying on reading it, you know how to read it. But if you pause, the fathatain changes into a vertical fatha. Always make sure that the timings are correct, okay? The madda here, the timing won't change. The timing on this will be for 2 seconds. Okay, so let's move on to case number 18, where we have a tanween of dhamma or of kasra on the letter hamza. Here we've got a kasratain. I just highlight it here. The hamza with a kasratain. When you come across an example like this and you choose to pause on it, what happens is that the hamza becomes a sakin hamza. Okay? So when we read this and we choose to carry on, this is how we would read it. Remember, with the big mud, 4 to 6 second stretch, okay? Ma'in.
Ma'in.
Well done. The meme, yeah? Try put the dry parts of your lips together. Ma'in.
Ma'in.
Well done. If we were going to pause, the hamza becomes a sakin hamza, okay? And the way that this gets pronounced is, listen really carefully, okay? Ma.
Ma.
So what happens is, as you're doing the ma sound, the air that's coming out of your lungs, yeah, it's just coming out and it's making the sound ah. Just cut that sound off. Cut that breath off very quickly, yeah? Ma.
Ma.
That's it. Beautiful. Spot on. Exactly like that, okay? Just think of it that the air's coming out of your lungs. It's all coming out, but you want to stop the sound, so you just suddenly close your throat, and that's how to make that lovely, sharp jerk sound on a hamza sakin, okay? So one more time from here. Ma'in.
Ma'in.
Well done. Ma.
Ma.
Okay, very, very nice. Okay, that was a really nice stop. Okay, very, very nice stop. Okay, so let's move on to case number 19. Okay, so where we have a mushaddad letter. Okay, and we're going to pause on a mushaddad letter. Here we have a mushaddad ya. It has a dhamma. The dhamma, if we go back to, so Daisy, here, rule number 3. If you're going to pause on the dhamma becomes a sukoon. That rule applies, okay, but there is also tashdid, and the tashdid here still has to be honored, okay? So this is how to read this word here if we were going to carry on reading. An-nabiyyu.
An-nabiyyu.
Well done. Okay. But if we chose to pause on this ya, the dhamma changes into a sukoon, like is the case here. Okay. But the tashdid is still there. Okay. So the way we would read it is an-nabi.
An-nabi.
Well done. Okay. The ba and the ya make that sound, yeah? B.
B.
Well done. An-nabi.
An-nabi.
Well done. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Okay. Jazakumullah, sweetheart. If I may have another student on the mic, please.
Yes, I'm now putting on N6327.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam, darling. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I am very well. Jazakumullah for asking. Okay, so we're now on to case number 20, okay, where we have a ya muttaharik. Okay, so muttaharik is the Arabic way of saying a letter which has got the stroke on top. Okay, so ya muttaharik, a ya with a stroke. That's basically what that is saying. Okay, we've got an example here of a ya with a fatha on the top. Okay, if we come across a case where there's a ya muttaharik, it will be read with sukoon if we are going to pause on it. Okay, so let me read it first of all and explain the specialness of this particular example. Okay, if we came across this particular word in the Grammar Jeed and then we wanted to carry on reading, this is how we would read it. We'd apply all the rules. Mathwaya.
Mathwaya.
Well done. Mathwaya.
Mathwaya.
Okay, this is a wow. Maybe I'm not hearing you properly. Wa.
Mathwaya.
Well done, well done. Beautiful. If we were going to pause, okay, we would read it like this. Mathwai.
Mathwai.
Okay, it's written in English here, just to make it a bit easier. The ya, even though it says sukoon on top, yeah, you just still need to touch on the ya sound. Mathwai.
Mathwai.
Okay, so say the ya sound at the end, okay? Why?
Ya.
Okay, why?
Can you say that again? I can hear you properly.
Okay, so in English it's written down here, okay? So you can see that we would say the math, like here, okay? And then the wa for this bit here, the waw and the alif. Wa.
Wa.
Yeah? And then there's a ya sound at the end, okay? So we have to say the ya as well. Mathwai.
Mathwai.
Well done. That's exactly right. The reason that we've put this rule in is that sometimes what people will do is they think that they're going to pause on this and they make the ya into a sukoon. And then what happens is they then think that the alif becomes a blank alif. And so what they do is they say the waw and the ya together, that becomes a ya leen. Okay. Now, if you can remember back to your lesson where we were teaching you about soft elongation, if you have a letter with a fatha followed by a ya sakin, it becomes a ya leen. So you would read it normally as way. This rule here is just telling you, if you pause on a ya, which carries a stroke, if you pause on it, the ya becomes a ya sakin, but you mustn't treat it as a ya leen. Okay? So this is why this rule is read like this. Mathwaya.
Mathwaya.
Well done. Mathwai.
Mathwai.
Well done, well done. Beautiful, very nice reading. Okay, so let's move on to rule number 21. If we have a tanween of fatha, as is the example here, okay, a tanween of fatha will change into a vertical fatha, as is the case here. Okay, so if we were reading this and we were going to carry on reading, tuwan.
Tuwan.
Very nice, very nice. But if we chose to pause on the vowel, we would read it as tuwa.
Tuwa.
Well done. Jazakumullah Sriha. Allah Hafiz for now.
Hafiz.
Okay, so if I could have another student on the mic.
Yes, I'm now going to put on A5343.
Assalamu alaikum. A5343.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam, darling. How are you?
I'm fine.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, sweetheart. So here we have some examples in rule number 22. Okay, so let's just have a read of what it says here. Okay, from there onwards. No change will take place if the last letter of a word is sakin, a letter of madda, or a letter of leen. So if it's a sakin letter, like is the example of here, okay, there'll be absolutely no change in how we would read that. Okay, so let's just go through the example here. Uzlifat.
Uzlifat.
Well done. If we were going to carry on reading, whatever comes after this word, we would read this as uzlifat and then carry on. But if we chose to stop here, we would read it exactly the same way. Uzlifat.
Uzlifat.
Well done. If you stop on a letter that is a sakin, there's absolutely no change to reading whether you choose to carry on or you choose to stop. If the last letter of the word is a letter of madda, okay, again, there's no change. So, for example, in this word here, we have a waw madda. This is a waw madda because it's a sakin waw and the letter before has a dhamma. The dhamma and this sukoon on the waw makes this a waw madda. If we were reading this and we chose to carry on, we would read this as gafaru and then carry on. Gafaru. Well done. But if we chose to pause, to stop here, absolutely the same way. Gafaru.
Gafaru.
Well done. Similarly here, this is an alif madda. Okay, an alif madda because this alif carries nothing on top, but the letter before has a fatha. So this is an alif madda. If you were going to read this and carry on, banaha.
Banaha.
And if we were going to pause, exactly the same. Banaha.
Banaha.
Well done. And if we have a letter of leen, there is again no difference if we are going to read and carry on or read and pause. So let me see, have we got, okay, here, this one here. This waw is a sakin waw and the letter before has a fatha. The fatha and the fact that there's a sukoon on the waw makes this into a waw leen. If we read this word and carry on reading, whatever comes afterwards, we will read this as la ta so.
La ta so.
Okay, sorry, I misread. Yes, no, that's fine. Okay, la ta so.
La ta so.
Okay, and if we were going to carry on, absolutely exactly the same. La ta so.
La ta so.
Well done. Okay, this is an ayn. Okay, so try not to make that jerking sound. Ta.
Ta.
Well done. La ta so.
La ta so.
Okay, don't make this thick and heavy, darling. La.
La.
Well done, beautiful. La ta so.
La ta so.
Okay.
So,
Okay, well done. Okay, so Sriha, let me just test you on some of these other ones here, okay? Remember, there's no change if the last letter of the word is a sukoon, okay? So read me this if you are going to carry on reading straight afterwards.
Kutilat.
Well done. Now read that to me if you were going to pause.
Kutilat.
Well done. Exactly the same. Okay. Now remember, there is no change if you pause on a letter of madda. So read me this, okay, if you were going to carry on reading afterwards.
Jalla.
Well done. Jallaha.
Jalla.
Well done. If you were going to pause here, how would you read this?
Jalla.
Okay. Remember, there's a tashdid here. Okay. One more time.
Jalla.
Okay. Okay. So because it's a tashdid, you have to press down on the lam. Okay. Jallaha.
Jalla.
Well done. So exactly the same way you'd read that if you were going to carry on reading. Exactly the same way you'd read it if you were going to pause. Okay. And let's. Okay. Okay, so there is no other example here of a, okay, so have a go at reading this particular word if you were going to carry on reading.
Sabili.
Well done. If you're going to pause, well, how would you read this?
Sabili.
Well done, well done. Okay, Jazakumullah Sriha. Allah Hafiz. If I may have another student on the mic.
Yes, and I'm going to put on N6344.
Assalamu alaikum, N6344.
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam, darling. Okay, sweetheart. So what I'm going to do is, let me just clear some of these. Okay. Okay. So remember, in this rule here, no change will take place if the last letter of a word is sakin, a letter of madda, or a letter of leen. Okay. So I'm going to ask you to read this particular word here and read it as if you were going to carry on reading straight afterwards.
Wazkuru.
Well done. And if you were going to pause here,
Wazkuru.
there is no change if the last letter where you're pausing is a madda. This is a waw madda, okay? So have one more go if you were going to pause.
Wazkuru.
Well done. Exactly the same way, whether you were going to carry on or stop. Wadhkuru.
Wazkuru.
Well done. Okay. So here, okay. Yes, Dad? Yes.
Rabbi.
Okay, well done. Now, this, yeah, okay, so I think that this is probably, not, I think there's a typo here. There should be a dhamma, a sukoon on top, okay? So, if you could just imagine that there's a sukoon here, okay? So read this.
Rabbi.
Well done, well done. And if you were going to pause on it, how would you read it?
Rabbi.
Well done, exactly the same way. And I loved how you really pressed down on the bar, okay? Rabbi.
Rabbi.
Well done. Okay, now stay on the mic, sweetheart. Let me just go back and ask you to read. Let me just see if I can get rid of some of these here, okay? So I'm just going to ask you rule number 18. Here, tanween of dhamma or tanween of kasra on the letter hamza changes the hamza into a sakin hamza, okay, when you're pausing. My screen doesn't like to behave itself. Okay, here. So read me how you would read this if you were going to carry on.
Ma'in.
Well done. And if you were going to pause?
Ma.
Okay, well done. Let's have a practice on making this Sakin Hamza sound, okay? You did the ma just right, okay? The air is all coming out, and then just try and close your throat suddenly, okay? Ma.
Ma.
Okay, very nice. The pausing was really nice. But remember, this is an alif, okay? It's just a very clear sound, not a thick, heavy sound, okay? Ma.
Ma.
Okay, well done. Try not to make it a thick or a heavy sound, okay? And now we're going to put the timing in. Ma.
Ma.
Well done, well done. Okay, one more example for you. Let me give you, okay, here. This rule here for number 15. Tanween of fatha will change into a vertical fatha when you pause, but the tashdid will still have to be manifested, will still have to be sounded. Read me this if you're going to carry on reading.
Musamman.
MashaAllah, very, very nice. I loved how you did the ghunna for the tanween. Now read it if you were going to pause.
Musamma.
Very, very nice. Yes. Make sure that the meme, you press down on it for 2 seconds, darling. Okay? 2 second ghunna on the meme because it's a meme mushaddad. Musamma.
Musamma.
Well done, well done. Okay, Suhad, Jazakumullah for your help. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.
Okay, so let me just take you back to the beginning here. Okay, today we did Rules of Waqf and we introduced you to about 21, 22 rules of what happens when you are reading, and if you carry on reading, what a stroke will look like and how you read it. If you choose to pause, what happens? Now, I know we've gone through quite a lot of rules, and chances are afterwards you won't remember many of them, but that's okay, because this is one of those lessons where when you actually go into the Grammar Jeet and you read, if you refer back to this lesson often, every time you pause, then the rules will become automatic, and you won't have to come back and refer to this particular lesson at all, because you'll just practice on those rules as you read. Tomorrow, the lesson will continue with a practice of exercise 21.1, where the teacher will take you through these words in this exercise, and she will read the words as if you're going to carry on, and then as if you're going to pause. So you'll get quite a lot of practice tomorrow and over the weekend. Okay, so if I can now give you your homework for Thursday. We covered Rules of Waqf. Just go through the Rules of Waqf, just the ones that we've done, pages 85 to 86. And see if you could come up with groups where you could say, okay, if it was this particular case, then that would become this. So for example, you could go through and say that every time there's a short stroke, like a fatha or a kasra or a dhamma, that always changes into a sukoon. So you can see if you can find a pattern. Yeah? Have a read through of those tonight. If I may have a student on the mic now for the closing dua.
I'm now going to put on A5345.
Assalamu alaikum. A5345.
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, darling. Okay, so we're going to read through the final dua. If you follow with me, everybody else also follow. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim.
A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahim.
Allahumma arhamni bil Qur'anil azim.
Allahumma arhamni bil Qur'anil azim.
Well done. وَاجْعَلْهُ لِي إِمَامًا وَنُورًا وَهُدًى وَرَحْمَةً
واجعله لي إماما ونورا هدى ورحمة.
MashaAllah, mashallah. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. So if you can read the English translation.
Oh Allah, have mercy me, oh Allah, have mercy through me through the great Quran.
And here?
And make it for me the leader, the light, the guidance, and the mercy.
MashaAllah. Such a lovely way to end the class. Jazakumullah for your attendance, everybody. And inshallah, we'll see you all tomorrow. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.